Hey guys, John here. I hope you're all doing well. As the title or thumbnail of this video suggests, big changes are coming to this channel, and that's not clickbait. It's actually true. At least what I consider to be big changes. And I honestly hope that you guys, my viewers, will also appreciate these changes. And all of this is exciting to me, and it kind of feels like a natural progression of the channel, so it's all good. Now, a lot has been happening recently on the channel for a couple months, I think. I've been using new cameras, which have been awesome. So thanks to my friends who pushed me, to get some new cameras because, yeah, the image quality has improved so much and I'm really enjoying that. Also the lighting and stuff. So that has been great. But that's a visual change. Much appreciated. But in today's video, I'm going to talk about something that has to do with the audio side of the channel. I'm going to start at the beginning here. So for years and years and years, I've relied on using IRs and load boxes for getting my tones, and that is a great method that I still stand behind. It just was so convenient for me to be able to use IRs and load boxes so I could use my real amplifiers or modelers at night and monitor everything through my monitors for consistency and just for convenience and for not disturbing my family and stuff because, this studio is in my home. And when the kids are sleeping, I need to be able to make content and stuff. So if I had like a huge 4x12 blasting all the time, that would not work, obviously. And I guess that I've been known for being that IR guy, which is fine to me because, again, IRs are wonderful, nothing against them. Sometimes I did get some comments here and there of people who were very doubtful about IRs and who didn't believe that they could accurately reproduce the sound of a real speaker. So there was some doubt here and there in my audience throughout the years, but most of you guys definitely understand because using IRs is a very, modern thing and a lot of people rely on them because it's just convenient, it sounds great, you know what I mean? You can get a variety of sounds at your fingertips. So it's all great. However, for years, and I'm talking maybe 2 decades or so, I've kind of missed out on the working with a real speaker and microphones experience. And that's okay, but recently I've just come to realize that that's something that I've missed out on, and it's something that I can really enjoy and get into, Now, I did get this Engel 4x12 XXL cabinet, I think this year, some months ago. I've been loving it. It sounds so good. It's probably the best sounding 4x12 cabinet that I've ever heard. And I'm super happy to have this one, and I've been using it in some videos, miking it up with a single SM57, getting some great results. But whenever I use it, the walls are shaking a little bit, and I can't use it at night, because when the kids are sleeping, I can't use this thing at all, basically. Still love it a lot, not getting rid of this thing, but it just hasn't been ideal, I'm just so used to hearing my guitar tones through my monitors. And then as if it was like fate or something, I was at Guitar Summit, that convention in Europe for guitar players, really cool convention. And I walked across a stand by Grossman Audio, and they make ISO cabinets. I was intrigued. I was like, that's interesting. And he gave me a little demonstration, Stefan from Grossman, and he, where he lifted off the lid so I could hear the difference between, with the cabinet isolated with the lid on and off. Well, that's pretty big difference, Tried some headphones, sounded pretty good. So I was intrigued. And then I got home, forgot about it for a little bit. And then I was like, oh, I remember I need to contact that guy, So Grossman built me a cabinet, the Fat Box. I've featured it in some videos already. I did a review that I recommend watching because it's very interesting. And in that video, you'll get to hear how good that thing actually sounds. Because I was a little bit skeptical. I was like, okay, let's see how this goes. Let's see how this thing sounds. And we agreed that if I didn't like how it sounded, that I would send it back. So it came here, I unboxed it in another video that you can watch on my channel. And I started using it. And as you can hear in my review, it sounds really good. With the proper mics and the proper settings and stuff, it doesn't sound like a boxed in little 1x12. No, it sounds like a huge cabinet with plenty of low end and all the frequency information that you need. So I was blown away at how good this thing sounded. And then all of a sudden in my mind, I was like, this is it. This is what I need to do, And again, it feels like a natural progression because for so many years I've been relying on the digital side, again, which is fine, nothing wrong with it. But it's just so much fun and so cool and also good for me as a musician and audio creator, engineer, whatever you want to call me, to dive into that world and experience that world as well. Because it's an important and integral world of guitar tones. I mean, IRs are based on real speakers and microphones, of course, so I don't want to miss out on that entire experience. I totally understand why others would have no problem with missing out on that, especially nowadays in these modern guitar tone times, which is fine, you know, we all have our own methods and preferences, but I have this channel and I create content for you guys, and I know that not everybody who's watching right now relies on using just IRs. A lot of people still have real cabinets and microphones and all that stuff, so it's just a different perspective. So what I'm basically gonna do is use that real cabinet much more for videos in the future, for my amp reviews and stuff like that. And I think that it's going to be really interesting and a lot of fun. And it's also kind of good, I think, to break out of the cycle of what I'm used to. So in my opinion, it's a good change. And it also allows for me to have a very consistent setup. I'm not going to use different types of cabinets. I'm going to stick with that Grossman cabinet for the most part. I'm not saying that I'm never going to use this Engel on the channel anymore again because it sounds so good. But for my main stuff, it's going to be very simple. It's going to be that cabinet, probably with the same mics. So currently I have two SM57s in there as well as the MD421 Compact. And I make blends and stuff. And that's going to keep everything very consistent. Now, the only major factor that's going to change is the speakers. I've already been amassing a bunch of speakers. I think I have like 15 or 16 speakers right now. Could be wrong, maybe 12, but a high pile behind there. And that's going to be great to explore those different speaker types and to see which speaker works for which amplifier. And it's really great with the fat box, the Grossman. It's just really easy to swap out the speakers. You know, within a minute, I can have a different speaker in there. And I can use the exact same mic positions for everything. Or if a speaker requires it, I can move the mics around and make it brighter or a little bit darker, stuff like that. But yeah, definitely don't underestimate the sound of that ISO cab. Really, it sounds absolutely huge. And if you're in doubt, check out my review that I recently posted on the channel. I'll post it up here as well. Because I know some of you are going to be like, a 1x12 ISO cab, that's not going to sound good. That's going to sound small and boxy. Not at all. It sounds absolutely huge. And it does, in a way, sound kind of neutral. So it's going to be a great platform to switch out the speakers and stuff. So that's like the main factor that changes in between the different sounds that I'm going to get. I also have a new setup based on that speaker. I'll make a dedicated video on that soon. I have like a different mixer on my desk now. The way that I'm running the mics into my DAW and stuff. It's pretty cool and interesting. So I'll make a video on my setup soon. So stay tuned for that. But there's also something else that I'm going to do that's pretty cool, in my opinion, to keep this whole thing even more consistent. And that is that I'm going to make my own IRs and release them for you guys. In fact, I've already released 3 packs silently as a soft launch on my Ko-Fi or Ko-Fi web store. And the other John Brown, you might know him from YouTube. If you don't, check out his channel and subscribe. He actually taught me how to make IRs. And they turned out so good. And it just makes a lot of sense for me to shoot my own IRs, because then in the digital world, I can also stick to the sounds of my real cabinet without having to use the actual real cabinet. And if you guys want the sounds that I'm getting in my videos for yourselves, you could just get one of my IR packs and get that exact same sound. And it's a simple setup. It's not going to take a lot of effort for me or you guys to get a great tone. So most of the IR packs are just going to have like 10 different files, you know, the 3 single mics and then a bunch of blends. And that's it. And then again, the main factor that's going to change between all the IR packs is simply the speaker type. So I have one pack for the V30, which is kind of my main sound. And then I also did the red back and the H75 cream back. And I also did a bundle so that you can get all 3 with a little discount. So check out my Ko-Fi web store. You know, check out the IRs, and if you've tried them, let me know what you think. I'd love to know. And it's going to be a lot of fun to explore a bunch of different speakers in that cabinet, see how they sound, and then also being able to try them in the digital world in my modelers. It's just kind of mind-blowing, and it keeps everything consistent and everything in the same sort of Sonic Drive Studio ecosystem. So what I'm basically doing here is creating my own sound from scratch. So with that cabinet, with the speakers and the mics, I'm creating and sculpting my own sound and then bringing that over to the digital realm as well. It just makes a lot of sense for me. And again, in my opinion, it's a pretty big change. I have a good feeling about it, and I hope that you have some faith in me, regarding my abilities to make all of this sound good. But it's going to be a fun ride for sure. I guess that's it for this small little rant. And I hope you enjoy my guitar tones, in the future going forward. It's going to change a little bit, sure. But again, I think for the better, and I hope you enjoy these changes too. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts about this whole thing in the comments down below. I'd love to know, because this also has to do with you guys. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons down below as well, because that really helps the channel out. And if you want to support the channel, you can either buy something at my Ko-Fi web store, where I sell these IR packs and my Quad Cortex captures and stuff like that, or buy something at my affiliate links for Tomon and Sweetwater, and then you get to support the channel at no additional cost. And also be sure to follow SDS on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Cheers.